Afghan forces bomb Taliban in bid to halt advance on cities. Government forces are fighting Taliban assaults on major cities, including in Herat, Lashkar Gah, and Kandahar, whose airport was bombed by the Taliban. Afghan forces fought fierce street battles and bombed Taliban positions as the group's fighters swarmed major cities amid an intensifying nationwide offensive. Hundreds of commandos were deployed to the western city of Herat, while authorities in the southern city of Lashkar Gah called for more troops to rein in the assaults on Sunday, even as Afghan airstrikes left scores dead on the streets, residents said. At least 5 civilians were killed when a mortar shell struck a taxi in Afghanistan's southern Kandahar province on Sunday, police said. The incident took place in the outskirts of Kandahar city around noon amid clashes between the advancing Taliban and security forces. Flights out of Kandahar, Afghanistan's second largest city and the Taliban's former stronghold, were halted after 3 rockets fired by the Taliban struck the airport on Sunday before dawn. The facility is vital to providing the logistical and air support needed to keep the Taliban from overrunning the city, while also providing aerial cover for large tracts of southern Afghanistan. Al Jazeera's Charlotte Bellis, reporting from Kabul, said 3 major cities, Lashkar Gah, Kandahar and Herat, were under pressure from the Taliban at the moment. In Lashkar Gah, Bellis said, the situation is incredibly tense amid heavy fighting, while communications have been shut off. Afghan security forces have increasingly relied on air raids to push the fighters back from cities, even as they run the risk of hitting civilians in heavily populated areas. But Al Jazeera's James Bass, reporting from Kabul, said there were still some civilian casualties. He said Lashkar Gah's main hospital, run by Italian NGO called Emergency that has 98 beds, was operating at overcapacity in the last 24 hours. They have been treating people in makeshift beds as well, trying to deal with the influx of casualties, he said. We've heard from residents there that the Taliban are actually inside the city, and we've seen videos of fires burning in the city. They're fighting street to street in urban areas, she said. Last night, we understand Afghan elite special forces dropped in by helicopter to try to push the Taliban out. We understand that the US is supporting the air raids, the Afghan Air Force is also supporting them. A resident who spoke to Al Jazeera before the communications shutdown said everyone is hiding in their homes and that fighting is about 1 kilometer, 0.6 miles, from the government compound in the center of the city, Bellis said. I do not know what will happen, said Halim Karimi, a resident of Lashkar Gah. Further west, in the third largest city of Herat, fighting continued on the city's outskirts overnight. Herat provincial governor spokesman Jailani Farhad said about 100 Taliban fighters have been killed in the attacks. Both the Taliban and government forces have exaggerated claims of casualties inflicted on each other's forces in the past, and true counts are difficult to independently verify. A government official told Al Jazeera that Afghan forces have employed air attacks to defend Herat and that the US is paying close attention to the situation in the province. Musa, a member of a local volunteer fighter group known as an uprising force in the province, told Al Jazeera Herat residents are afraid. The Taliban continue to stage assassinations and launch grenades, he said, which makes people afraid to move around a city that is considered one of Afghanistan's economic and cultural hubs. The situation is very difficult right now because of terror from the inside, Musa said in reference to claims that supporters of the Taliban are providing the group information from within the city.